What up, YouTube family, and welcome to another Pick a Card reading in honor of my birthday coming up. I was and still am a huge Disney fan. I haven't watched some of the newer films, but I'm more so of a classic Disney girl, and I even have a Disney tattoo on me, and I have the Little Mermaid tattooed on me as well. So, yes, I am a fan, but this one is going to be a little special. We're going to be looking into what Disney character does the universe see you as, and I basically just used a random Disney character wheel on Google, and I channeled into, each person, and I just spun. Okay, so there is one character that I did not really know too well, but I did my research and it was easy to just get the synopsis. And I'm going to move through this slowly because I want to be able to read through the character descriptions of each. Some of them are classics, but some of you may not know them. Okay, so I still want to show a picture and all of that. But yes, so we're going to be looking into what Disney character does Spirit see you as. And on my Patreon, we're going to be doing what Disney villain does Spirit see your shadow as. Okay, so it's going to be a little fun, all right? But I'll give you guys time to pick. So this is group 1, group 2, and group 3. Also, if you are new here, my name is Professor P, aka Elvira, aka Brightbat. And you can find my spiritual podcast link below where you can just check out my story, channelings, horoscopes, my Patreon for additional information, and my Instagram if you want a personal session. And of course, you can email me if you don't have Instagram. Okay. All right. So the very first group I got that Spirit sees you as, drum roll please, Alice from Alice in Wonderland. Okay, and if you guys, everybody should really know who Alice is, but I want to show you guys a picture of Alice. You guys can see her. Okay. And basically, we're going to read the description. So, when Alice, a restless young British girl, falls down a rabbit hole, she enters a magical world. There she encounters an odd assortment of characters, including the grinning Cheshire Cat and the goofy Mad Hatter. When Alice ends up in the court of the tyrannical Queen of Hearts, she must stay on the ruler's good side or risk losing her head. Okay? And then we're going to look into her character description. So, she is depicted as a curious and adventurous young girl who falls down a rabbit hole and enters the fantastical world of Wonderland. She is known for her blonde hair, blue dress, and white apron. Alice is sensible, polite, and has a strong sense of logic, which often clashes with the illogical nature of Wonderland. She is portrayed as brave, confident, and unafraid to challenge the strange and rude creatures she encounters. Alice's adventures in Wonderland are driven by her insatiable curiosity and her desire to understand the nonsensical world around her. All right, so group 1, I'm hearing you guys are also probably Beauty and the Beast fans. For some of you, you like stories about transformation. And in the movie with Alice, that movie is all about her basically transforming her perspective, transforming and seeing it in a different way. So you guys could be very adaptable and very quick with your wit. But the reason that Spirit sees you like Alice is because you know how to astral travel. You may not even know you're astral traveling, but you know how to do it. You know how to jump from dimension to dimension, place to place. You're probably immutable or mercurial sign. So I don't know if I said Gemini or Virgo. You could also be Pisces somewhere in your chart. But you're someone who Spirit sees your soul this way, okay? So some of you, you could go to like different places in your mind, but you wouldn't consider yourself someone who does too much in your physical. In fact, you may be somebody who would rather get lost in books. You would rather get lost in learning new things, discovering new things, and kind of getting lost in this imaginary world that you have created for yourself. And I also feel like you incarnated with some sort of mortal enemy, but in the spirit. Okay, so you know how they say that she has to basically escape the queen and shit. I feel like for some of you, the queen is your mother. And okay, this may be a trigger for some of you, but for some, it's like the queen is your mother, right? And or a family member close to you, and you incarnated into this almost karmic upside down world when where you're really from somewhere like very high vibrational. You're not even from this planet for some of you. And what's interesting is spirit showing me that your trip to Earth is like going down the rabbit hole, like how Alice went down the rabbit hole and everything was upside down. So you may have a hard time with understanding why people are so cruel, why people can't be kind. And you have incarnated basically to analyze people around you. And you also have a very, very wild spirit team. You have a very... So you know how she has all these different characters around her, you know, like the Cheshire Cat and the caterpillar and all of that. Your guides are saying that the reason that sometimes you can't see them or feel them is because if they showed you their true form, if they showed you who they really were, you would be, some of you are like, bring it on, I want to see them, but they're like, you got to reach a certain vibrational place to see us. You know, I've only seen my Arcturian spirit guides a few times, and they kind of just came out of nowhere, and they just look so beautiful, angelic, but very alienoid, okay, very alien. And I had to get my heart space to a certain level in order to see it. Just like Alice, you know, she had to wander in certain different ways. She had been exploring, you know, and then she finally just, boom, one day, just boom, she falls down this hole. Okay, so that could have been also how your spiritual journey was. Like, spirit sees you like Alice because you don't really get afraid of the spiritual downloads that you get. Some of you do, but others of you are kind of like, how can I integrate this? How can I work with this? How can I learn more? Okay, very much fire sign, okay, because I have all wands here. So some of you could be fire sign energies, but you're very eclectic, you're very creative, you're very good with your hands, and some of you are kind of coming into learning how to work with spirit more, okay? I don't feel like you're at the place where you're in full-blown communication with your guides in the way that Alice, you know, I'm seeing her guides as, you know, like I said, the rabbit, all the different characters that she came across that were kind of telling her how to navigate the world. You guys are still kind of learning how to not be afraid of your spiritual gifts and not be afraid of exploring. That's why I said your soul has been many places, okay? You've been in many galactic dimensions and different. That's why Earth to you is kind of bland and boring. And that's why I said you would rather get lost in books. You would rather get lost. You know, Alice was kind of like that, okay? She was kind of just like, you know, like there's a sense of just like slight boredom with the world around her. But creating something within her own mind, okay? And a lot of people love to say that that movie symbolizes a drug trip, okay? It's all, it's all perspective, okay? How you see it. Some of you, it would be good to watch this movie after, or to just look at her best moments. And because Spirit is saying this is how they really see you. They see you. You're also very, very, very wise, okay? Just like Alice, very wise beyond her years. You know, you would think a little girl going into a world like that, she's just freaking out. But she adapted. I keep being drawn to the way that she adapts to her environment, okay? And unpredictable circumstances. That's also why Spirit sees you like Alice, because you adapt. You don't, even if you feel like you aren't, you always find a way to make the best of situations. You always find a way to bring it back to your heart space. And as I said, I feel like you kind of were in this training grounds when you grew up, when you came to this upside down world, Earth, and you had to basically incarnate with karmic family members, karmic people around you. I'm hearing karmic cousins, okay, people just that really challenge your spirituality. Gargoyles and monsters, okay, like literally, like that you incarnated with. Oh my God. But the reason that you did is because you come from such high vibrational planets that your soul chose to explore this world, okay? And some of you did accidentally fall into this dimension, okay, because you were blasted out when the reptilian takeovers were happening, and they were taking over different planets and raiding different planets. So you may actually have dreams of you running or trying to escape, you know, like the Syrian cataclysms, the Atlantean cataclysms, and all of that. You probably have that stored right in the back of your subconscious. So you may have, it's weird, it's like you may have unwavering faith, but also unwavering fear, okay? And that's something that you have to really master, is like not letting your fear overcome you, not letting your fear overtake you. Okay. With all these loonies around you, okay? Because I keep being shown to how like Alice was really the only one with her head on straight. You know, like everybody had their own little weird things going on, and you're kind of like that. You're like a seer. You don't judge people also, and that's another reason why Spirit sees you like Alice, is because you don't really judge people. You may have your critical analyzations, but you kind of keep it moving. You don't ruminate on the actions of other people, and that's because you grew up in such a very like harsh environment. You know, you probably had a mom like from Precious. You know, if you ever seen Precious, you probably had a mom or a father or somebody in your circle. Could have even been a toxic karmic friend, okay, secretly jealous of you, always throwing energy, always throwing stones at you, you know. And how Alice, I'm thinking about the newer one, okay, so now I'm being drawn to the newer one, and how she had to basically disguise herself and was cool to the queen. Like the queen accepted her. This is y'all gonna just geek at how I connect this, but how the queen accepted her, right? Because the queen had a big ass head and shit, and then like Alice, she shrunk, or no, she was big. She got bigger, and then, but that wasn't really Alice's real size. She just drank the potion to basically like have a last way of fitting in with the queen, okay? Evil as queen, okay? And it's like, there's something about your empathetic nature that sometimes you may notice, like when you grew up, you drew in a lot of like strong-willed women, and like they love you but they also hate you, you know. You guys know what I mean? Like you called in certain people where they were like bullies to everybody else. It's like, it's weird because it's like you didn't want, it's not what you want. Just like in the movie, it's not that she wanted to be friends with the queen, it's like she had to, okay? So sometimes you guys would go undercover as like just like a karmic type of energy to basically learn things from people who are in their shadow and take something from it, okay? So for example, like I always kind of grew up very bashful and very just like shy, but like, you know, if I'm around the right people, I would, you know, just be chatty Catherine, okay? And I feel like there's something like that where you had to kind of grow up around like toxic, dark, manipulative people because you had to take something from it. So growing up with like a very strong-willed Sagittarius mother, and you know, her having kind of like these very strong, sometimes narcissistic traits, I learned that the one thing that I took from that is that she would always protect her peace, protect her boundaries. Yes, she would go about it in a very toxic way. Just like the queen in the movie, she wouldn't really allow anybody around her unless they had something that she could relate to, even though the way that she ran things was very tyrannical. I feel like there's something that you guys are meant to take from this earthly experience and basically implement, like show more. Sometimes spirit feels like you can be kind of like head in the clouds, okay, when you need to be more cemented and rooted, especially if you are somebody who is like trying to connect with spirit more. You need to be more grounded. You need to have a more practical plan. You need to be more balanced, okay? You know, that's also why they see you like Alice, is because you can move from one thing to the next. And life is also just about putting together the puzzle pieces, not just from this life, but from other incarnations that you've had. And sometimes you will experience people who basically do something so dark to you that you kind of have to wake up and be like, okay, wait, this ain't my home planet. Like, I ain't, this ain't home no more. Okay. This ain't Kansas no more. Okay. So yeah, that's mainly what I'm seeing for why spirit sees you like Alice. Okay. I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace out. If you guys want to catch the villains version on Patreon, that link will be below as well. Riley, excuse me, y'all. He just knocked over the trash can. 1 second. You playing with that ball? Huh? Are you playing with that ball? Okay, y'all. So, welcome group 2. And welcome to your what Disney character does spirit see you as? And group 2, your Disney character is, drum roll, Pocahontas. Okay, Pocahontas is well known, much like I'm sorry I got to do it like this, y'all, but Pocahontas is well known, okay? Actually based off a real figure, okay? But we're looking at the Disney, okay, the Disney version. Pocahontas is the main character in Disney's 1995 animated film of the same name. She's the 18-year-old daughter of Chief Powhatan, leader of Powhatan tribe in Virginia. Pocahontas is a free-spirited, noble leader nicknamed Little Mischief by her father. She forms a forbidden friendships and falls in love. She forms a forbidden friendship and falls in love with English settler John Smith. Okay, and we're gonna look into her character description. Well, this is kind of short, but noble, free-spirited, and Little Mischief. But I've seen Pocahontas, so I already know her spirit, her soul. So the very first reason why spirit feels like you guys embody that Pocahontas energy is because some of you could actually be a part of some sort of tribe, okay? Even if you don't really know it. And also a lot of you have roots to ancient earth. You have roots to nature. So you could be somebody where some of you haven't really tapped into this. And I feel like it's literally because of you're also navigating a twin flame journey, okay? So I know that the story about Pocahontas, that she actually got kidnapped by this settler that came in. We're going with the Disney version, okay? I'm not romanticizing it, okay? Because I know it's a controversial story. It's just what we got. But I feel like you guys are navigating an experience with either a karmic masculine who is meant to be transmuted into a divine masculine. So you may have met somebody early on in your journey. They could have been somebody who was very attractive to you, but also very kind of like stupid a little bit. And you kind of always acted as like this person's protector. And some of you are still with this person. Others of you, you're kind of like coming together, okay? But you had to be separated, or you will be separated from love, because you have to make a connection with spirit. And that is also something that Pocahontas in the movie, she had a very strong connection with spirit, but she would always try to basically save this man. She would try to jump in front of this man, and that spirit sees you like that. There have been many other lifetimes where you have died for other people. You have taken bullets for other people. You have taken hangings for other people. Like, you were somebody who also would not snitch. You would not tell, okay, on people. And it's very noble, okay? So Spirit sees you as a very noble, caring, loving person. And some of you are adventurous, okay? You like to rock climb or climb trees. I don't know, maybe you did that when you were younger. And it's like you kind of felt out of touch with that because you're now connecting to that side where Pocahontas, you know how she was able to, you know, sing about the colors in the wind and like all the colors and just this tight bond that she had with her guides and just the earth around her. That is what Spirit is working towards getting back to you, because your soul is already like this. As I said, your soul is a part of some sort of Native American tribe, and maybe it's even in this life that somewhere down the line your ancestors were a part of a tribe, and you may even have the features that Pocahontas have, okay? You may have, you know, that bronze skin, you may have that long black hair, you may have those that background, okay? Very strong jawline, okay? Very, very beautiful features, okay? So that's another reason why Spirit, not to say that the other Disney characters aren't beautiful, but Pocahontas is just, the way that she is animated, she is just stunning, okay? You also probably have a sister or a sibling who has always, you guys are like the opposite, okay? But your sister has a secret admiration towards you, or you have certain people around you who grew up in the same tribe as you, and they see you as somebody who's very, very different. They see you as somebody who is just willing to see all sides of the spectrum, okay? And you're probably somebody who is for human rights. You know, you're probably someone who may grow into being an activist as you heal your own wounds, because as I said, you are also navigating some sort of karmic lesson when it comes to love. It doesn't feel like it's necessarily twin flame for all of you. It doesn't necessarily feel like it even matters if it's a twin, okay? It's just something about a karmic lesson in love, overly giving yourself, overly sacrificing yourself to someone who very well, on a spiritual, energetic level, captured your essence and took you away, okay? And this could even be a very strong soulmate who you felt compatible with, and they just abandon you, okay? And you've been fighting for this person in the spirit ever since, okay? That's how I'm hearing it. And you guys know what I mean. You're praying for this person. You're praying for, even if you don't know who this person is, but I really feel like Spirit is saying, no, you're speaking to this group, to their soul, okay? But yeah, you're learning a lesson about not jumping in front of but the thing is, because Spirit is stopping me right there, they love that about you because of the fact that you're actually an earth angel, okay? So you're actually somebody who is meant to kind of be, okay, I'm hearing it like kind of be like a martyr because you can handle it. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm not saying go out here and just be like Miss People Pleaser, Mr. People Pleaser. No, I'm saying that you are so strong and capable of taking a hit that you are able to protect those around you without even trying. So you may notice that, and you know how like Pocahontas, she was very loved within her community. And in the movie, her father was trying to control her, you know, basically trying to get her to marry Cocoron. And I will always say that to my past person. I'll be like, should I marry Cocoron? I would say like randomly. And we would just laugh. And yeah, so it's like something like that where maybe you guys, like, you in this life, as you heal and step into like knowing your divine feminine power, whether you're masculine or feminine, you're going to attract in people who want you, okay, want you a lot, okay? And there's only going to be one flame that sticks out to you, and you're kind of going through a life journey where you have to learn how to listen to your heart, connect with nature, connect with your roots. And that is why you are single right now, or why you are with somebody who kind of lets you do your own thing, okay? Because you have to figure out who you are, okay? You have to really know about your roots in this life, because you actually have a lot of I'm seeing tree spirits. I was going to say, like, you have a lot of animal spirit guides, tree spirit guides. You may notice that when you cry, it rains. When you're happy, it's sunny. You may just notice, like, when you come outside, you bring the sun out, okay? If it's cloudy, it's because you have a very strong connection with the higher spirits of Earth, the guardians of Earth, the Native American spirits of Earth, the guardians, okay? The guardians of this planet. And there's something very, very sacred about your solar energy. And that is why you have to protect your peace. You have to protect your land from invaders, okay? And this is in a spiritual context, but also like physically, you may have been through certain things where people have tried to harm you, tried to abuse you. And nonetheless, you never made it become your identity. Some of you are still healing from something that somebody did from you or did to you. But they don't know that this is what's lying underneath. They don't know that you're a part animal, okay? Some of you have had animal past lives, okay? You're very powerful. You know this. You're learning it. And with Pocahontas, it was so natural for her to step in front of John and to lay over him when they were about to kill him. It was just a natural instinct. That's what Spirit loves about you guys, you know, not to basically glorify what she was doing, but Spirit really loves that you have, it's not even fake. It's nothing fake about your kindness. Your kindness is just, that's how you are made. And sometimes you are the one who has to be careful of allowing the wrong people in, because your frequency naturally, it kind of repels people, okay, like that are just going to be two-faced, fake, you know, especially as you're in a high vibration. So you're like, sometimes when you're lonely, you may feel like, damn, like I need to like go out and meet people. And then when you meet people, you're just, it's almost like a weird karmic thing where when someone finally comes into your life, they try to take something from you. And that's because Spirit is saying they want you to learn how to let people meet you where you are, rather than feeling like, and then, because it's like your relationships in the past have been like that, not just in love, but you have always been like the leader of the pack, even if you were the quietest one, or even if you were, it's like everyone would come to you for your insights, your wisdom, or just your strength. You know, you have a quiet strength about you that people really love. Okay. But that's why Spirit sees you, excuse me, as Pocahontas. Some of you, maybe you grew up without one parent. I think that her mother was not really around, okay? I'm not sure. So you kind of had to take care of your father, okay? Like, that's for someone in particular. Or you always felt like you had to look out for your family. Protect them. Okay. Some of you could actually work with land. You could work with animals, or that is something that's a part of your purpose. And as you grow older, okay, because I feel like some of you have not matured to where, it's not to say that you're ignorant or stupid. It's just that you have not really grown into being able to educate the way that you would like. It's like you have all this wisdom, but you're trying to figure out how to put it into words. As you get older, even if you consider yourself to be old, as you get more experience, you're going to be able to talk to people and convince them to stop doing things, okay, that are harmful to the earth, harmful to other people. And you're going to be able to do it in a way that, like how she did it when she was explaining to him in that song Colors of the Wind, you know, like, you can own the earth and still all your own is earth until you can paint. It's like, it's just like you doing things in such a way where it makes people be like, damn, like, it's like she's leaving space for him. Like, you can do this, but you're not really going to have all of it because you don't have this connection. Okay. So maybe you have dealt with even dealing with people like that, where they try to like take shortcuts in their journey. You're like, no, you have to do this, you have to do that. And, you know, they try to run off with that information and basically build off of what you said, but they're missing the key component, which is that some people really just don't have that pure connection to source in the ways that Pocahontas did and in the ways that you do. So that is why sometimes it's like you're the prize, okay? You are the prize. And you need to remember that. That is what Spirit is saying. You need to remember that. Some of you, you deal with people with addictions and people who are very greedy and people who are very shisty, okay? Maybe you've dealt with criminals in the past, or you've dealt with people who like to, they're into some dark stuff, okay? And you come in as this ball of like a flashlight on them and you choose what to do with that information. Some of you want to save these people. Some of you, you're learning who's worth saving and who is not, okay? That is what this life experience is about, and it is something that has been a recurring theme within your lifetimes of trying to save people who are unsavable. And not that it even bothers you, okay? But you're learning how to protect that strong inner strength within yourself and be like, just because I can does not mean I should, okay? I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace out. What up, group 3, and welcome to your what Disney character does Spirit see you as? And I don't really know this character too well, but I know enough, okay? And I'm still going to be able to read it because I was getting downloads about it. Maybe some of you guys know who this character is, but it is, drum roll please, Forky from Toy Story. Toy Story 4 to be exact, okay? And I'm gonna read the description. So, Forky is a spork from Pizza Planet. Along with the majority of Bonnie's toys, despite being a main character in the 4th film, Forky doesn't interact with the other main characters. He only meets Gabby, Benson, and Bo. Forky is an anxious character who just constantly is shaking and trying to find his way through life. And basically, let me also go to more of his description. Okay, so he is a handmade toy character from Toy Story 4, created by Bonnie from a spork. He has googly eyes, a blue wax mouth, popsicle stick feet, and pipe cleaner arms. Forky struggles with his identity, believing he is trash rather than a toy, and grapples with existential questions about his purpose. Alright, so the reason that Spirit sees you like Forky is because a lot of you are new to Earth. A lot of you, or you have grown tired of the Earth experience, okay? And that is why you have a lot of anxiety, because you feel like you just don't really matter, okay? And in the movie, at least the scenes I was watching, he's always saying, trash, trash, I'm trash. He's trying to jump in the trash, but really, he's Bonnie's favorite toy. He's the main character's favorite toy. And I kept being shown how, you know, when children make something of their own, regardless of how weird and kind of like wonky it looks, it's like their favorite thing because it's their creation. That is how Spirit sees you. So Spirit made you in a very specific way. You may feel like you do not fit in with anybody. You may feel like you're weird. You may feel like you have crazy hair. You know, you may feel like you feel like you're just out here, okay? And it's like maybe some of you did grow up with a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. And it's almost like when people meet you, they do not see you like that, okay? So in the movie, Woody is basically trying to convince Forky that he matters, okay? Like, no, you are a toy. But he's like, trash, nope, trash. And some of you have actually pushed away some people in your life because of your insecurities, because of your anxiety. You know, it's like it's hard for you to see when people care about you. But this is like, the thing with Forky is that he was so out of his ego, okay? So that's a positive trait that Spirit likes about you. It's like you're not heavily egotistical, but sometimes they do feel like you downplay yourself, because when you actually come into people's lives and you actually show yourself, you become their favorite person. You become their favorite person. And I feel like some of you are growing to understand that more now, and you're starting to grow into yourself. I'm sure maybe at the end he realizes that, you know, he's not just a toy or not just trash, but who knows, okay? I gotta look into it. But yeah, it's just like, another thing with him is that he's created out of pure innocence. So some of you, you don't have a bad bone in your body, okay? You know, some of you, like, you may think that you're like this bad person sometimes. Like, there's something about body dysmorphia here and not really seeing your full potential. I just keep hearing that. It's like a little bit of being blinded to it. But I'm hearing you will evolve out of this energy and you will become another character. So some of you, this is not your permanent character. This is kind of how Spirit sees you right now. Like you're running away from your purpose, or acknowledging your purpose, or acknowledging the good things about yourself that actually people love. And some of you may be like, why don't I have a partner? Or why don't I have, it's because, well, I don't feel like a lot of you are in that energy necessarily, but maybe when you were younger, you did. I feel like some of you have outgrown that. You have a very like detached, airy like mind too, okay? That's why they see you like that. Like how I saw Forky is just like, it's not even that it's bad to be existential, you know? It's just like you have all these different questions and nobody's really giving you solid answers. So you're just like, well, I guess I'm just out here. And I guess I'm just going to be out here and just, you know, try to escape my reality as much as possible. Okay. Some of you could have had codependency issues. You could have had addiction issues. You could have been constantly trying to throw yourself out of this realm. Okay. I'm sorry if this is a trigger. Some of you maybe went through a period in life where you just didn't feel like you wanted to go on anymore. Okay. And the reason that Spirit sees you like Forky, not because of the way that they're moving, but because of Bonnie's love for that. Spirit is saying, I love you like Bonnie loves Forky, okay? And you guys really need to understand that. You are special because you are one of one. There is nothing like you, okay? You cannot be remade, replicated, done over, okay? That is what Forky represents. He was made specifically because Bonnie knew exactly what she wanted to see. That is how Spirit sees you. You have these very magical healing abilities too. Like, you are able to just, especially, and it's so thoughtless, okay? Like, you know, it's like the things that you say to people or have said to people, you have really like changed their lives, okay? So some of you speak life into people and you don't even realize it. You don't even realize how you change people's day. Some of you, like, when they see you, they just laugh, okay? And it's not like a bad laugh. It's just like they know when they see you, it's gonna be a good time, okay? I don't think you guys know that. And I feel like somebody is crying, but somebody really needs to know you are one of one. There is nobody like you out there. There's no way you could try to recreate this, but it's not going to come from the same source, okay? You may see yourself as like, and another thing, very flexible, because I'm paying attention to the little hands. You know how you can bend them around? You're very flexible. You're very just sweet towards people, okay? You don't try to get over on people at all. It's like, I'm just laughing because I'm here. I'm too anxious for that. I'm too focused on my own anxiety. Why would I be focused on getting over on you? But that's kind of where some of you guys are, okay? It's just like, Spirit really wants you to understand that it's not about, yes, you may have these unique features about you. Maybe you got teased for having something, okay, when you were younger, or maybe you're on the spectrum, or maybe you have BPD, or you have a mental illness or something, but that does not define you, okay? It's actually what makes you kind of cute. And people love that character from Toy Story. I was just reading like all the comments and people were like, I just watched Toy Story 4 just to see Forky. Literally, that's how your guys and angels, they're like, that's how Spirit sees you. Like, let me just see what group 3, what Forky up to. What they doing over there in their little weird corner of the world, okay? You guys are very weird, okay? But not in a bad way. You like to watch weird things. You have a lot of weird facts and weird information that you know. And people just look at you like, where the fuck did you learn that? And I feel like if you embraced that a little bit more, like I said, you would evolve into a different character. You would not be Forky forever. It would just be more so of like a representation of your wounded inner child, okay? This is a temporary character. I almost feel called to pull another wheel to see, but no, we're just going to focus on how Spirit sees you now, how they saw you coming into this incarnation. Some of you also, you didn't have a pause between lifetimes, so that's why you also have anxiety, because maybe in your recent past life, something happened very abrupt to you. Maybe your life was taken or stolen, okay? You just came here, memories wiped, and you're trying to find answers, okay? And that's why some of you, like I said, you came into this world feeling like you want to get the boop out of here, okay? But as you heal this, you're going to become stronger, okay? You're going to become something better. All right? So that's mainly what I get for group 3. Thank you guys for checking me out. I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.